welcome back to Smarmalade Plays Autumn's Journey. We just met Ilmari, who's a douche nozzle, and Care, who's a bigger douche nozzle we met earlier. Ilmari's not supposed to be a douche nozzle, but I feel like he's hiding something, like a vagina. Alright. Ilmari shifted his eyes and glanced at the ground. Right.
I promise.
I promise I won't be a burden. I promise. I promise. I promise. He also apparently has a big old braid down the back of his head that we can't see. And if I am, well, I can go back. Care grumbled and merely walked downstream, waving dismissively around his ass where he just farted.
I don't care.
Do what you want. Just promise you won't lecture me or do any of that nonsense. I already get it enough. I'm so misunderstood. Jesus. Who's Jesus? Promise. Ah, I'm smiling! Jesus, get a little... I think I'm gonna title this episode Jesus. Ilmari's smile was so bright that I couldn't help but grin as well. I turned to him and offered a hand, and he tilted his head quizzically. Looks like we'll be traveling companions, at least for a while. This is an offer to shake hands. It's a greeting between heavenkind. Ilmari extended his hand, and I gave it a firm shake. Pleased to meet you. I'm Auralee. Pleased to meet you, too.
Thank you.
And thank you for convincing Care. Thank you? Pardon?
Thanks.
You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear those words. I have a feeling you and I'll get along swimmingly. Swimmingly? He glanced back at the river, then chuckled. Is this heavenkind humor? Something like that, but it usually elicits more groans than laughter. Come on, we should probably get going before Care decides to ditch both of us. I don't have any more food to lure him back. Except my boobs. About food and heavenkind needs. I researched a bit, but I'm not completely familiar. Don't worry. My dad makes food for a living, so you'll learn a lot about it. He nodded happily. With that, we quickened our pace before Care could yell at us to hurry. I wonder how they'll react to entering a heavenkind town. They'll probably piss their pants. Is it chapter 3? Yeah. Chapter 3. Berry! Ooh. We arrived late afternoon. Berry was a small farming community nestled by the riverbank, perfectly situated between larger cities. It had at least 36 houses, many with their own farmland, and sprawling orchards beyond the river. Of course, it also had an inn for travelers, which was becoming more popular thanks to the improved roads.
Wow.
I don't know how to respond to that. Ilmari seemed thrilled, gasping over every little thing while his eyes excitedly darted from one house to the next. Care simply rolled his eyes and remained withdrawn as we walked over to my family's house. I admit I was concerned. Their ears weren't exactly natural, and Ilmari's hair color was striking even from a distance. There were a few people who passed and gave curious glances, but they relaxed when they saw that I was accompanying the boys. You knew everyone in Berry, especially if you lived here for most of your life. When we reached my house, I motioned over to Ilmari and Care. Can you two wait here for a bit? I need to talk to my parents first. I can't just invite strangers in, especially not dragons with huge dicks. Is it some sort of heavenkind formality? Yeah, formality, something like that. That's why it's important you two don't wander off.
Of course.
Right! Of course! Bleh. I mean it. I opened the door and closed it behind me, stepping into the cozy room. Mom? Dad? I hope they didn't leave to search for me. That would be partially my fault. Aura? Mom! Hey, Mom! I was embraced in a tight hug. My mother worryingly checked my face before stepping back. Lady Bayard. Where were you? Your dad got all anxious and I kept telling him you would be all right. But when night came... I'm fine. The reason why my scouting took so long was because I bumped into 2 travelers. She pursed her lips and tapped her chin. They're not amnesiac! What? Nope. Any mystical-looking pendants on them? They have some simple jewelry, but no pendants. Dark and mysterious pasts?
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure not. One is a spoiled brat, and the other seems like he would be the youngest of a dozen siblings. She sighed in relief. Good! I've had too many troublesome experiences with people like that. Let them into a village, and the next instant it's on fire. That's my girl.
Right.
Always thinking of everything. Where's Dad? I'm starving. Oh, okay, he's a baker. I couldn't figure out why she was like, she couldn't just go to the fridge or something. She needed her father to get her food. She laughed at my carefree comment. He should be back soon. Is that Mom's sword up there? That's pretty swank. She leaned to one side, looking past me. You can let your friends in if you'd like. I turned to see Ilmari gingerly tapping the glass, then putting his hands all over it in bafflement. He looked like a performing mime.
Wow.
What is this brilliant substance? You can see beyond it, but it's a barrier. Not from around here? I don't know why her mother is like friggin' the guy from The Wizard of Oz. Anyway, heh, you could say that. Once we sat down at the table, Care was content leaning against the wall, being sullen. I quickly explained the situation. I left out the punishment, since I had a feeling Care would get embarrassed. Here in the first place, they'll be observing our customs and looking at some of the altars we built. That sounds wonderful! I know there's been more interaction between both races lately, but I'm out of the loop now. Mom used to be the captain of the guard for the city of Oliver, but had long since retired. She kept busy performing various protection services for travelers and merchants, patrolling Barry. She kept busy performing various protection services for travelers and merchants, patrolling Barry, and even teaching sword fighting. That was a sentence. We were hoping to leave first thing in the morning. And walk the whole way? No, I'll be riding on their backs. I glanced at Care and Ilmari. I could always swim, but it's been harder to navigate in this river recently. A lot of heavenkind activity. None of us fly. I guess we could always hire a coachman. Actually, there's a small group of merchants heading for Oliver, and they won't leave until tomorrow afternoon. I had initially offered my services, but if you think you can handle it... You mean it? I can arrange it right now. Up for the challenge? It'll be a first real job outside of Barry without me. This mother voice, man, it's just going all over the place. Of course, I'll protect them to the best of my ability. They're all gonna die. She laughed at my enthusiasm and excused herself, letting the males know that they were welcome to stay overnight. I grinned and pumped a fist up their asses.
It's going to be a real night!
I feel like this is my first step into real knighthood. A knighthood? Well, probably more like a mercenary. You get hired to protect people and make sure they arrive at their destination safely. That's a good thing. That way we can get to Oliver and earn a little money. However, if I could ask my mom something later, then I'd really be a knight. I could have left for Oliver at any time, but I needed something important first. I was probably grinning like an idiot, but I didn't care. When I heard the door open, I knew it was my dad, and immediately jumped up. Mom was likely on her late patrols again, and probably wouldn't be back for a while. You two are probably hungry. Is there anything you'd like to eat?
Thank you.
Well, I'm open to anything. I've never tried heavenkind food before. We'll try our best to make you something you'd like, Ilmari. Care? Don't give a fuck. Just want to eat something. He was pondering at first, and then reluctantly looked up. Yes?
Look,
Those, the one that had the apple slices on it. I fucking love fruit!
right.
Oh, apple tarts, of course. Pastries are pretty much my dad's specialty. He'll make some for you. The smallest of smiles appeared on Care's face, but it quickly vanished. At least there was something heavenkind related that he enjoyed. Our meal was pleasant, and I was surprised that my dad even got care to say more than a few lines, because he was in a play, and did not speak naturally. My dad always had a way of winning people over through his cooking. Ilmari found our eating traditions extremely complicated, what with all the dishes and utensils used, but kept getting drawn to the windows again. If I ever let him loose in a stained glass church, I snorted behind my cup thinking about it.